Welcome to the podcast Black Artistry Inspiration Recrafted, where I speak to black creatives about a piece of art that has inspired them before we then go on to talk about their own work. I'm Dr. Florence Marfo, a podcaster since 2020, and I'm joined today by singer, songwriter, and all-round artiste, all the way from her home in Florida. Welcome, and please introduce yourself to listeners.
Yes, so I'm Soul Rebel. Greetings, everyone. I'm so grateful to be here with Florence today, and I'm a reggae artist. I'm rooted in a lot of other things too, R&B and, all of the things that artists say, but roots rock reggae is my heart. I'm from the town of Linstead, and it's just a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. And before we go on to talk about your own work, I wonder if you wouldn't mind performing from an artist who has inspired you without revealing who they are.
I was drawn into myself, observing all this time. From every angle that I see, my people been needing help. Brothers have turned to crime, so they die from time to time. We'd like to ask you, leaders, what's on your mind? I see the fire spreading, it's getting hotter and hot. The haves will wanna be in the shoes of the have-nots, and the sign is on your door. You will be safe for sure. So if you are in pretense, you're on the wrong side of the bed.
Woo, woo, woo! I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So that was the one and only Marcia Griffiths, and I really love your rendition. That was beautiful. So she sang that. Did she also write that?
So I think that may have been written by either Bob Andy or Bunny Wailer, one of those. I'd probably have to look it up. Again,
Okay.
I'm not afraid to not know.
No, no.
But I know that more than one individual sang that song. But as a little girl, when I heard Marcia Griffiths sing that song, I didn't even know someone else sang it or whatever,
Oh.
or someone else wrote it. And I thought it was so powerful and it spoke to people. It's like, like a female replica of like a Bob Marley or same like a Bob Andy or just the people who were using the music as a message at that time. And so that's really spoke to me, that fire burning.
We're going to come on to talk a little bit about her influence on you. But I first would like to go back to the beginnings because many will know her as somebody who was with the I3s, the backing singers to Bob Marley and the Wailers. But she has had a career that predates that. When did it all begin for her?
Exactly. Um, I think when we really focus on the role Marcia Griffiths played, I mean, she's been celebrated the longest as a female in reggae music. So I think even if you never paid attention to her before, it's drawn to her beauty, the way she dresses, the way that she's just really never dabbled in other markets per se, even though she could, you know, and also that she was around a lot of the males at that time, Bob Marley, namely, and just her sound, her tone, the whole I3s, the impact. And so I latched on to all of the I3s, but I think because Marcia Griffiths had the most predominant career, that's probably why there was such a huge impact through her, you know?
Okay, so after the passing of Bob Marley, who was such an iconic figure destined for so much, do you know whether she struggled to find artistic purpose?
I think that just having longevity in anything is good. There's going to be a struggle, especially, it's a man's world or whatever, especially in reggae music. So I'm sure she struggled before Bob, during Bob, and after Bob.
Mm.
She's very private, it seems
Mm.
to me. And she's much older, so I think she probably is going to share what she's going to share
Mm,
with the world. But I don't know a lot specifically about her struggle, not as much as we know about like Rita Marley's struggles. You know, we've seen
mm,
that. And then we've seen Judy Mowat go between Christianity and reggae music and, you know, different transitions. That obviously has to be a struggle to kind of want to serve the Lord in one sense, but then have this huge career that may be in jeopardy. You know what I mean?
mm.
So I think Marcia is just one of those soldiers that kept her struggle close to her heart. And, you know, she's alive and still able to influence us. And we're grateful for that. She's definitely more present and in the music industry than the other two I3s, you know. So like I say, you can kind of see why I latch on to her legacy.
I'm not sure if you'll be able to answer this because, from what you're saying, she's quite a private person. But you mentioned the subservience of women in, I don't know if it's reggae music, but also Rastafarianism as well. And I just wanted to know, how do you think she managed to reinvent herself following the sort of death of Bob Marley? And I ask that because I think when somebody is in the presence of someone who's destined to have such stratospheric impact, you kind of go there to support him in his demise. Do you know how she managed to recreate an identity for herself?
Well, I know that she worked with many producers and she sang a lot of Bob Andy, Horace Andy's music. So other producers, you know, wanted to work with her. She's had a strong body of work over the years. And she talks about some of her struggles. I remember an interview that I saw with her and DJ Shriek 745. It's very recent too, and she's talked about different things that, you know, I think in one sense she said when she recorded the Electric Boogie, you remember that song? She's like, shortly after she recorded it, Bunny Wailer recorded it too. And I mean, I believe he wrote the song, but you know, she was like, you know, what's going on? But I remember being a child and I remember thinking that was like the hippest song because I was, you know, you're little, you're like, I don't know, 5 or something, and you're just like, wow. And there was a music video and everything. And then I remember hearing Bunny Wailer's version, and I just thought it was pretty cool too. And being in Jamaica, you'll hear that. You'll hear songs that other people have sung, and then another person puts their spin on it. It's all about your style and your spin. But I'm sure that had to have been extremely frustrating for her, not just as a woman, but as a person, you know, to feel like, you know, let my song get the
Yeah.
air and the time that it's really supposed to get. You know, don't just, you know, overshadow me or whatever. You know, so but it didn't overshadow her. We still thought she was the coolest thing ever, in every way. And just her versatility and her stick-to-itiveness. You can see her perseverance
Mm,
when she steps out on the stage, it's very regal. You know, I've never really heard her raise her voice. I've been around in studios and places, been to shows backstage and just regal, you know, just a lady and
mm.
just soft spoken. So I don't, subservience to me was more a little respect, you know, but she still kind of pushed forth as, you know, who she is.
You've alluded to it, but I don't know if you're able to define what you owe her longevity to. Are you able to sort of summarize?
Her ability to go in the studio, record hits, put bodies of work together, release, you know, I think at the end of the day, she had a team that understood, you know, what had to happen. If you look at her photographs, you can see that these things are planned, organized. Her makeup is on point, her jewelry is well put together. Her outfits are always stunning. And I think putting that with the music, it's the ultimate sell. And she has built her she's built her, I want to say, her catalog as well as her listenership, and the support is there. big time. So once you build your market, or you tap into your market and your audience, you're building your audience, you're bound to have success, not just in music, in anything. And so without being able to be there as an artist, I can read that. I can see that, and the body of work. I mean, when you go to a show, she's going to keep you singing for an
Mm,
hour.
mhm,
That didn't happen with one project. You
mhm.
know what I mean?
And the respect you give her is obviously one that Jamaica has given her. She's been awarded the Honour of Distinction and the Order of Jamaica. What percentage of people get awarded those titles in Jamaica in a given year?
Over the more recent years, they've tried to amp that up quite a bit because we've seen Bounty Killer and, just people that we used to think um, the who's who were afraid to award, you
Mm,
know? But they've been getting, their credits, they've been getting their flowers. And so I feel like over the years, we've understood more of the impact of these people on our culture. You know what I mean? So in terms of percentage, even to this day, I mean, barely, hardly.
mm,
My dad and his crew from Linstead is one of them. One of the gentlemen has died recently. His name is Vincent Morgan, and he was one of the musical directors and leaders at Studio One with Coxon Dodd and the whole, this everything, everything, everything. And even though he had a beautiful funeral and he had, there was something in the star about it, there's no order of merit or distinction that was placed on, any of those gentlemen
mm.
as of yet.
Okay.
So I know that, the numbers are slim. I don't
Hmm,
know if
hmm.
10% of the industry has been.
Okay. So she really is somebody who has received an accolade that very few other Jamaican artists have.
She's made a huge mark, like on the whole community. Because I
Hmm.
think also because she's a woman too.
You
Because
mean?
most of us, we don't last that long
Okay. Okay.
in these types of businesses, but reggae gives us that chance. That's what I see. That reggae, because of the type of content that
Hmm.
we're bringing into this space, it can give your career more longevity.
That's interesting that you say reggae gives you that chance. I was recently in Jamaica and I was quite struck by the dancehall culture, not just music, but also the sort of sexual explicitness of some lyrics, the way people dress, and I associate it with dancehall. How does a reggae compete with something like dancehall?
You can't, in that sense, in the sense of compete, because some people say, oh, there's no comparison, there's this, there's that. But the reality is, we all are artists in a very similar space. Yet, if we dress differently, if we act differently, we might get more attention at some point or
Sex
another.
sells. Yeah.
Whether we want to believe it or not. Just to be fair to your question about competing, it is difficult to be able to really do that. You really have to have your song saturating the market or something about your image that captures something in the market that gets you the attention, or you're with a certain crew. You know what I mean? If the crew is already established and they push you forward, then maybe you get some attention, but it's really about, I think, the to be seen, guns are gone with it.
And just because I'm just a bit curious, as a woman, do you find the sexual explicitness of dancehall liberating or restrictive?
Mm, that is such an amazing question. And I'm going to stand right on the border of both, and I'm going to tell you why. While it does restrict us to things like age gaps and, just how long can you really be so sexually explicit and it sell, right? It starts to sag, right? Can I say that?
You can't say that.
um, but the how it's freeing is if you're able to see how dance hall connects with the past. Dance hall
Right.
connects with Dinky Mini and Kumina. Yes, Dinky Mini and Kumina are old dances of Jamaica. These are dances that would happen in the mento space, in the poco space, in the camp quadrille space. This is folk music, Jamaica. And so you would have the king and queen of the poco, of the ceremony, and you would have people that represent the feminine energy and the masculine energy. Sometimes they would wear different colors. Dinky Mini will wear red and blue sometimes. And I'm sure you've heard of Jankuno,
Yes,
right?
yes.
These are all different dances of cultural Jamaica, right? So for all who pick up, this is my teacher side kicking in.
Good. I
Dinky
love it.
Mini, Dinky Mini, Jankuno, Brookins, Mayal. These are traditional dances of Jamaica that have been bare dust to many of us, unless you really push. Where I come from in Linstead, I used to dance some of these dances, quadrille, Brookins, mento music. I used to go to competition with the JCDC, the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission. Kudos to them.
Mm.
They still do it, thank God. So we get to do our schoolwork really fast and then go outside and practice these dances,
Oh,
these
lovely.
traditional folk dances. So connection now, that was the background. Brookins and Dinky Mini has these body steps that make you, you know,
Thrust.
it make you thrust. And nothing wrong with thrusting. You hear me? So we can love our dance hall same way because the thrust is from our culture. The wine is from our culture. The explicit dressing is because we used to walk naked and we were okay with it, you know? But now it's borderline, it's a little identity, it's a lot of other things too, along with it. But most of it is to be seen. And if you did go to a Jankuno, one of the biggest characters is the devil, right? And if you went to Dinky Mini, you would see the king and queen, and probably one of them would be wearing horns, right? And there was thrusting, there was bodily movement, and there was a thing what they call daggering.
What's that?
Daggering is like the
Oh,
thrust
okay. That's a real
on
thrust.
steroids, yes. But that was a part of the Brookins, and it was a part of the Dinky Mini, right? So they would be like on two lines, like four dancers or whatever, and they would do a step towards each other and they would thrust and they would back off each other and they would throw. You understand? So it was a thing where the man and the so they used the sex. It was still a part of the ceremony. It was a part of the dance because remember, our art is real life as Africans. Our art is real life. And that's why dancehall can sometimes free me. So if I'm in the party or in a little get together and they play the clean version, I'm gonna bop.
Okay, okay. Well, you're allowed to
Might
bob.
play the shabarangs or they might, you understand?
Yeah.
There was a connotation of sexuality, but it became monumentized or, it just became, and that's the same way from Brookins and Dinky Mini. Some people were like, oh my God, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see them whine on each other in the quadrille or whatever. I don't want to see that. But it was a part of our culture long before dance hall.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Thank you so much for that background. You come from a musical family, and your background in music is evident in what you know about the music side of your culture. Tell us a little bit. You mentioned your father. Tell us a little bit about musical influences and just remind us of where Marcia Griffiths fits in with all of this.
The whole vibration of my origin and connection with this music is through my dad. He used to just play the reggae music all the time. He was always in a band. And what I remember most was when Studio One was having a reunion. It was a reunion concert in Jamaica of all the Studio One musicians. And like back in way before I was born, he had played with a band called Soul Defenders out of Studio One. And the Soul Defenders band used to have singers like Freddie McKay and other individuals. He sings a song, you'll remember, there's your picture hanging
Oh,
on the wall,
oh,
and
lovely.
my heart cries out to know that you are gone, but it's got to be there, still hanging on the wall.
I'm loving it.
Remember that song from back
Tell
in
us
the
about
day?
it. Tell us about
So
it.
that song is from one of the hit songs from the Soul Defenders back in the day. And so they played with different people too, like Burning Spear. So when my dad was real young, like 19, or way before I was born, he played on some different songs in a Burning Spear album and did some work at Studio One. So now when they do the reunion, when I'm like really young, um, I was very proud of him because I was like, wow, he's being associated with the Soul Defenders band and, just all of the culture behind it. And once he did that, it was like he wasn't just a visiting member. People really accepted him as a part of the band. And obviously, I'm a proud child. So I'm like, wow, my dad really was a part of history and whatever. So Studio One was famous with like Treasure Isle, Channel One. There were a lot of these original sound systems that became production houses. And so they would have these different artists that work with them. And
Mm,
so Marcia Griffiths used to voice
I
with some
see.
of these different, original
Hmm.
production houses. And so she would be, one of the voices that you would hear. Now and again, you would hear like some Judy Mowat sing the many are called, few are chosen. So they
Yeah.
are recording these songs for these new producers to the world because
Hmm.
reggae in this sense, in that way of making music, was very new to the world.
Okay.
I've got a couple of questions related to that. So, Jamaica, I've read, has the highest number of recording studios per capita in the world. In a way, that might make it easy for people to go into music, but then the competition must be really fierce.
Tell us about that.
Very fierce, very fierce.
Mhm.
Well, they equally, if they have that many studios, they got that many churches.
Yes, I've heard that too. Yeah, yeah.
And we're still like on the list for like scary
Yeah.
places. So, irrespective of what might be going on, people still say Jamaica's a beautiful place with
It
kind
is.
people, no matter how much you hear about the crime and the this and the that. And I think it's the very same thing. Every paradox exists, even though there are a lot of music houses, production houses, studios, or whatever. A lot of it is broken down now. A lot of it is obsolete.
Okay.
People do have a lot of in-home studios, and there are some places still that are very much in operation, and some very strong organizations like, the Penthouse label, they still
Hmm.
exist. You know, there's still I would want to say like the Tough Gong is
Hmm.
huge, still have a
Yeah.
lot of different studios that are open to people both for recording and, to get help with whatever you need.
Hmm.
But access is still limited. You have to know somebody. Some of the artists from before tell you that they would go to the studio and sit down for days, weeks, months in order to be recognized enough to get
Oh, I
um
see.
an opportunity to record. I think even, some people, they might have to still go somewhere else and record and give somebody the CD and say, look, I can do this.
I see. So your foot's not through the door just because it has.
No, absolutely not. No. But my foot was through the door because I had it in my house. So I didn't have to go anywhere to seek it.
So tell us about that. Did you want to sing before you knew you could, just because it was around you and it was something your dad did?
Or did you have a
I
voice and
love
then...
singing, but I didn't care much about the music, the business and the music of being like in the front. I just love to do things. I actually, in school, I was more of a performer. So I was doing the dancing, and we're still doing singing and stuff, but choir here and there, whatever. But it was really more about just performing arts in general.
And JCDC, is that open to everybody?
Everyone, and that's why I really I pushed that into the conversation, because it's still happening to this day. And you have people that are like, they'll tell, my dad has done the quadrille dance in the JCDC or what, you know what I mean? So it's something that gives children an opportunity to be somewhat trained, because you get a Jamaican teacher in front of you that's passionate about a cultural art piece or a piece of work. They're going to deal with it just like the language arts lesson. They're going to deal with it just, you know what I mean? Because some of them, their craft is culture, but they're educators. So that's how we really make it out, even in school, because some people will say, I never did anything, but in school we used to run 100-meter. Or, you know what I mean? Because once someone sees a talent in you, it's unearthed, even if it's to their benefit, because in the long run, it's really to our benefit. You know what I mean? In the long run.
So I really, from what you're saying, I mean, I really like the idea of JCDC really schooling Jamaicans in the culture of music. I think that's really important, that people know
where this song comes from or where this musical tendency comes from. I think that's great.
Right. Absolutely.
And tell me, how long did it take you to find your voice, your kind of style as a performer?
I think the more I sang some of the real reggae songs, like initially I was like, oh gosh, I feel a little bombarded, because after a while, most of the songs that we would kind of perform or learn, what I was hearing was mostly men singing. We didn't have a lot of female in and around my circle. So I heard a lot of male type of driven songs, but then I realized that like there's a style, like a reggae style, the whole one drop thing,
Tell us about the one drop.
So like they talk about the downbeat of the music. So like where most people like R&B and most songs are singing on the upbeat of the music, like Jamaicans, the reggae style is like on the downbeat, so it's
Can you do
like,
a demo?
Yes, I can do a demo. Like one love, one heart, you know what I mean? So it's like after the beat, then we sing. Then we sing.
Isn't that's a tendency of some Caribbean music actually, on the
offbeat?
Or the Negro spirituals too.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, are the ones who deny being. So there's a way.
Yes.
There's a way, and it's a different type of rest. We take a different rest. Now, doesn't mean that people aren't going to use the popular style or the mainstream style or whatever to sing the music, because everything is accepted now, but I realized that, like some of the ways that the songs were sung, I listened to a lot of Bunny Wailer, and there's a lot of words, because Bunny Wailer is very scripted. He's a good writer. So how you hear where the words are placed, how the song is sung. I've also heard stories like how my dad would say when he was younger and they heard Burning Spear sing, they would laugh about it because they thought it was weird, because of how he would sing, because they kind of it's like a call and response.
I love that.
It's the downbeat. So once I kind of got wind of that, so I can probably sing that I will love you anyway, even if you cannot stay. That kind of, that R&B vibe, you
Yes.
know what I mean? But at the same time, I feel like when I understood the reggae, my true voice, I feel
Mhm.
like my true voice. I wasn't trying to sound like anybody like a Mariah Carey or
No.
whatever. I honored my singing voice, like my speaking voice. And
Mm.
because like our music is a message. So it's like a way to kind of meld the melody with like how you really sound. And I enjoy that because I want to sound like me.
Yes,
I don't
yeah.
want to be like anybody else. But when you're just starting out, you want to sing that song just like Whitney Houston. Help
Okay.
us, Father. Help us.
And I'm loving your voice, by the way. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
And tell us, where did the name Soul Rebel come from? Because I know Bob Marley had a song, Soul Rebels. Is it related to that?
I mean, yes, because like we all love that song. And I had an uncle that was like my dad's older brother, rest his soul. Um, he's passed and he would really encourage us in music. He encouraged my dad long before, I understood what was going on. And he encouraged us. And he was a drummer and he was a big proponent of the music. And his favorite song was Soul Rebel too. He loved that song to the point of even at his funeral, like it had to be
Oh,
played, like literally,
oh.
literally. So we are very close to the music.
Mhm.
And I love that name for myself. And I was thinking to myself, well, Bob Marley didn't call himself that. He just made a song called that.
Yeah.
And it talked about this free spirit and this energy of um rebellion but peace, and I
Yes.
love that mix. I
Yeah.
love sweetness of a
Mhm.
soul person. I love
Mhm.
soul music in every sense of the word, whether it's like I love Ella Fitzgerald, I love
Oh,
Billie
nice.
Holiday, I love, John Coltrane, Count Basie, and I learned about soul and the rhythm and blues aspect of music. But so by the time I come up and I'm thinking Soraba is the perfect name, I tell my people and they're like, I love it too.
Yeah.
Now, another thing is we're from the Soul Defenders era. Soul Defenders is from my neighborhood. And one of my mentors and some of my dad's friends are in the Soul Defenders band.
Mhm.
And then other artists had the soul on their name. Like this one
Mhm.
man, I love his voice too. His name was Bobby Soul. And
Mhm.
he is Tony Curtis. You remember the Butterfly song?
I'm not sure I do, but
Butterfly, Butterfly. It was like a dance hall song.
okay,
Anyways,
okay.
the kid that sing that song, his dad's name is Bobby Soul from Linstead. He's from Linstead too. So I wanted a name that had soul in it.
Okay,
Period.
well, that's
I had
lovely.
to have that.
Lovely.
So
Um,
Soul Rebel is me. Yeah.
Before we go on to talk about craft, you've mentioned a mentor. Tell me what the role of mentors has been to you in the music industry.
My mentor at the time, I've had different mentors too, because I have to pay respect to other people who have really guided me. But the person who I think when I say mentor and I think about it was like just things like when I wanted to get behind the booth and really start to sing. And if I had like any type of fear or if I had any type of feeling of overwhelmness or whatever, he would say, just sing, man, no worry about that, man. And then there was some calm, really very laid back parts to him where he would come to visit me. He's an old man. His name is Privy. I keep saying he and I haven't introduced him. I think his name is Ronald Clark because when we were growing up, we only know the pet name or the
okay.
nickname.
Mhm.
So his name was Privy, Aya Privy. Um, he's a part of, like I said, the Soul Defenders, a very big part. He's the cheque, the
Oh,
guitar
lovely.
section,
Yes. Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
in that. So he taught me guitar,
Mhm.
you know, some basic stuff. We didn't get to, grade 7. There is no grade 7. But when he taught me guitar, he passed in the beginning of the COVID era.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
And so we had to say goodbye. But
Mhm.
I still have his spirit with the songs he taught me, the way he spoke to me. Those people never cared about fame or
No.
fortune or riches or being seen. I mean, I think there were times he wanted me to be seen. I don't
Oh,
know if it was time for me to be seen quite yet,
I
but he
see.
wanted that, so he
Mhm.
didn't really get to see a lot of what's so rebel.
It's always the case, though. It's always the case.
That part is hard to grip, but it is the soul of my artistry, and I have that guidance. So even though he's gone, like I still have that guidance,
Mhm.
and anyone now can build on it because I can have any mentor, from now on until forever, because
Mhm.
we're always in learning mode. That was the
That's it.
thing that he taught me too, because he would take every book that I have. So he taught me music, and I would just give him books. He'd read
I
them and back.
see.
And I'm like, this man is like 70 something years old.
Lovely.
And he's just
Lovely.
reading through my life because we love books. He's just
Hmm.
reading through whatever I have. What else you have? What else you
I
have? And he's
love
just
that.
reading through
So
my
he's
life.
learning, you're growing. I think that's beautiful.
Very beautiful. Very
And
beautiful.
talking about your craft as a musician,
Tell me how you started developing. Okay, so you were around people, but what did you do to develop as a singer and a songwriter?
I would sing background with my dad's band in Key West
Mhm.
because I started going to college in Florida. So my family, you know how it is in Jamaica. It's always wind rush, but just different directions. It's crazy. So we left Jamaica and I was gonna go to college in here in Florida. Hence we end up having a base here. I have a home here. Um and while during the week I'm at school in a place called FAU, Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton, Florida. And that's like west and
Mhm.
north. And then they live south because they live a little south of, I went away to school, so they're far away from me. And then he's going all the way to Key West. You might not know Florida, but it's
Mm.
like hours south. So I would take the train or whatever home on the weekends so I could go with him hours south to sing on the Tiki Bar in Key West. It's like always a vacation in Key West, even when it's raining or whatever, wherever else. Florida is always hot. So it's a vacation spot. So every weekend I would sing background, like just the background vocals, the harmonies. Because I'm good at the harmonies. I hear them
Yeah.
like a mile away. It's like a haunting. But then there were weeks when the singer got a flat tire, got sick, and they were like, but wait, you can come sing. Or I would get an hour here and there until, yeah, there were days when I was able to represent in the front,
That's lovely.
so that's where I was like, I could do
Oh, that's
it.
beautiful.
Yes.
So your family migrated to Florida and you studied. You have another career, don't you? What is it?
Well, I love to learn. And
Hmm.
I knew that even though we love music, my family is very education oriented. I had aunts that have their PhD. I have
Wow.
like aunts that worked in big banks, just with, so they were very ambitious. So while the man them into the music, the woman them is
Mm.
into the books.
Ah,
So in order to do music freely, I had to give them a degree or two.
A degree or two. So tell us what you studied, your degree or two.
I've studied education.
that's
I've
lovely.
studied persons with disabilities. I've studied how to teach them and everybody else,
Hmm.
how to communicate with, how to create individualized education plans, and how to monitor whether it's data
Hmm.
regarding, their performance,
Hmm.
in an effort to see how students can be mainstreamed after being overgeneralized.
So tell us, when the going gets tough in the music industry, do you ever say to yourself, "Oh, I don't need this. I've got 2 degrees. I've got a degree or two." Do you? Is it ever your get out clause?
Still, to be honest, I still work. I still do education work. I work with adults, sometimes just kind of doing advice. Sometimes I do it remotely. Sometimes I go into an office, depending on how I feel. I don't chase the music. Maybe I should, but I don't chase it. I feel like I have the resources, I might not have 100K following on Instagram. I don't have 20K following on Instagram,
Mm.
but I do feel like music is a huge part of who I am, and I'm happy to be able to do it. And even if, I don't care what happens, meaning like
Yeah.
I do sometimes get really serious and really zoned in, and I do a lot of content, a lot of bodies of work and things like that. But I know that reggae music is life, like I say, so I don't know if I'm taking it for granted. You can always do it.
I think that's so beautiful when you've got a hobby that is just a hobby, because I think I say hobby, okay, you want to do things with it, but I think when you put pressure on, I need to earn this amount because it's my main source of income, I think you can lose the passion.
Could lose a lot of other things too.
Yes.
A lot. You can lose a
Yeah.
lot. You can lose your dignity,
Yeah.
your pride, and you can still have the passion and have
Yeah.
no integrity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can have the passion and the drive and be good and
Hmm.
have no soul.
Yeah. I think when you depend on something for your income, when it's your main source, the focus can change so easily because it's your main source of income.
Even my
Yeah.
current source of income, I don't even want to rely on that. Like,
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
want to have to, and I encourage people not to think about work and being a company and for 25 years start to figure out how to live a sustainable lifestyle that doesn't require you to be um, enslaved
Yeah.
by anyone and anything. Get to a point where you're doing things because you want to do them or you feel like doing them, and
Mm.
find a way to intersperse that into whether money making, bartering, or whatever. Because I think whatever you put your mind and your intentions into, that's the vibration that's going to come back to
Yeah.
you. And
Yeah.
every time I feel like I need something, the opposite is shown to me.
Mm.
You know what I
It's
mean? What I
interesting.
need to do is to just be alive, be
Mm.
Black, enjoy the breath of air today.
Hmm.
But sometimes some things can, even sometimes I get on a tour or I get involved, you know what I mean? And it's very, because it has to make a certain impact,
Of course.
because we
Yeah.
drive some of it,
Yeah.
but I sometimes I'm okay with allowing some of
Hmm.
it to happen. And it does. I mean,
Hmm.
like even this interview, it's
Hmm.
it's something that I rode the wave of an
Yes.
allowing type of thing for it to happen, to get me in a space, because to be honest, I wasn't playing my guitar for a long time. I
Mm.
was, because I was focused on dub plates and being in the studio and blah, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And then I have to do this and then I have to do that. And so I've found grace and time in doing things. And then I feel like, wow, it's so much more, it has so much more depth, because it is what it is to you. It's
Yes.
not what it is to another person. And the minute that we release ourselves, I've definitely released myself of what just people think. You know what I mean? Sometimes
Yeah.
I act like I care so they could feel better.
But tell me, oh, so, okay, you say you don't care what people think, but you came to England, you've got a fan base, you must care that you've got.
Tell
That
us.
I mean, I care
Hmm.
about that. Me, when I say care what people think, I mean naysayers,
Oh,
people
okay.
that are pushing you, people that want you to be
Yeah.
on a certain schedule
Hmm.
with things
And I
when
think
they're
art.
living their lives.
Yeah.
And it's not, no matter how you try to get it on a schedule, because it's a time we live in. Anyone who portrays perfection right now is not being
No.
authentic.
No.
You know
Well,
what
it's
I
not
mean? Because
possible.
at the end of it, it's impossible,
Mm.
especially right now. There's so many things going on in the world that
Hmm.
we can't really be like butterfly happy
No. No.
all
No.
the
No.
time. You know what I mean? And sometimes I find that in the music industry, the people that want you have to be aware of that,
Hmm.
because like in London or in England or in certain places in Jamaica and so on, I get the vibe. There are places that I don't know what I gotta do to get the vibe. Do I have to
Okay.
buy it? Do I gotta beg for it? How do you know what I mean? Because it's all about, do the people like you? I know where the people like me.
Well, that's beautiful. So you came to England recently. Who is your fan base in, or where is your fan base in England?
My fan base is all over. My fan base is in London. We've got like Vibes FM listeners.
I see.
I have a lot of Vibes FM. Like, it was huge because I got this thing from them, a Rising Star Award from one of
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. And I received it because on the Vibes FM on a Friday morning, Fada Mighty, Mr. Mighty plays, and he had a competition that he put, some of our songs as artists that are getting popular. And my song came out victorious, and I came out victorious. So it was
That's
very
lovely.
sweet, very sweet. Croydon,
A lot of music comes out of Croydon, actually.
oh, like I don't want them to get upset with me.
Yeah, don't miss anyone out. Yeah.
I know, I won't. But I'll try not to. But like, urban radio, the mix master Jays, and just a lot of the people who are out there. It's all over the UK. Birmingham, New
Lovely.
Styles Radio. It's all over the UK. Like, I am solid
That's
in that
lovely.
market, and I'm grateful because it gave me my exposure. I mean, you start in Jamaica, right? But it seems as if it kind of balloons once it goes someplace else,
Of
and
course.
when you kind of bring it back, it's a thing.
And do you ever get inspiration from Jamaica when you go back home? Are there places in Jamaica you go to get inspiration? It's such a beautiful island that I could imagine you would.
All the time. So I'm like, I love the places where the ocean meets the river. So like White River area, I love that.
Oh,
The
it's
Duns
nice.
River, I love the falls, but I love more that the river is meeting the ocean. I love all of those types of energies. I love the spring where the water comes from the rocks. I
Oh,
love the hot
beautiful.
one in St. Thomas. St. Thomas is like one of those places that still has a lot of the spirit, I would say, of the island. And it's in those hot rocks. Like, nobody makes it hot. Ja make it
No.
hot.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Um,
Is there anything that you've learned about the music industry that you'd like to share with people who want to get into that industry, maybe as reggae artists specifically?
Yes. Like, once you record for somebody, see if they're okay with giving you your master.
tell us
Even if
why.
you don't, yeah, even if you don't own it, get your master, because you can remake it for yourself in the future. So even if it's yours, it's good. But if it's not yours, and if you have it, you can actually, you know what I mean, have a master, or just get your music together, right? So that's first, if you're recording. If you're a performing artist, always have 2 flash drives. So if
Why?
you have like 4 songs, and when you save your songs on your flash drive, put the number in front of it. Like, if my number one song is King Majesty, I'm gonna put one King Majesty. That if when it goes in the DJ's flash, computer, and it's jumbled, it still says number one in the front. That's one thing I would tell them. Um, I would tell them, don't perform on the day that you record, because sometimes recording takes all the energy out of you, and then it's difficult. But you have some people that they're geniuses and they can do anything, and especially in today's society. But these are just my things. Read your audience.
I like that. So respond to your audience. Don't go with your set script.
Look
Yeah.
at the look at the crowd. Look at, you know what I mean? Don't be up there trying to do your full set and know that they're trying to get you off to see Buju Bantans. Like, get off.
And tell us how you have coped in this modern era of free access to music. What challenges has that brought you, and how have you overcome that?
Um, I just don't look at it as a challenge. I don't well, like if I go somewhere to perform, I expect to be paid, you know? But like because we do cover songs, those songs are copywritten. I'm not going to get paid for those songs. So when it like I'm connected to the free music in a different way. I'm not worried about free music, especially if it's recorded and it's out there. It is what it is because most of the time, like you have to be smart enough. Like I have loads of music. I'm not just going to release it.
Okay.
You know, whatever is out there is what I can afford to let go of.
Wow.
Yeah, and because I have things that I want everything for it. You know, I want
Okay.
it. Yeah, because then I want it to become a legacy.
Okay.
Believe in yourself enough
Mhm.
for the big audience that you want to have.
Mhm.
Because if you don't believe it, they're not going to believe it either. You know?
Mhm.
You mentioned legacy. How important is it to you?
Oh, it's everything to me. It's how I will live when I'm no longer living. So that is something to me. And like there are things that you give away you're never gonna probably get anything for. I've seen it through my mentor. I've seen my dad work, done music, and not gotten paid for these great things that he's done, or been a paid for hire.
Mhm.
What should have been royalties is a gig. You know what I mean? It's kind of
It's hard. It's rough. It's rough out there, you know. And just before we go, tell us about career highs or lows. Just one of each, maybe.
career low. Um, oh gosh, career low. The EP that I released last August 23rd, 2024, I tried to do that for 7 years. So the first time I tried to do it was 2017.
Wow.
I was really sure. So you can't imagine being really sure in 2017, nothing. 2018, 2019,
Wow.
2020, 2021, 2022.
My
So
goodness.
even when I'm in London and creating a name for myself, or in Jamaica creating a name for myself, the failure
Yeah.
of 2017 seemed to, I feel like, follow me. But it wasn't a failure of like, I don't know,
Mhm.
like I don't know. It wasn't it to me, it was like more of a plan that wasn't all the way seen through,
Yeah,
or
it's your
something
expectations.
that I didn't have the full scope of. I
Mm.
definitely didn't understand exactly what I was doing, but I thought I did. So I've given myself grace, but I definitely know that it was like a failed attempt at that thing.
Mhm.
And eventually, when it happened, I won't say it was a high just to do it because I've been trying to do it for so long. So yeah, I'm glad to do it. But we hit the iTunes chart, and
Okay.
I still don't know what that means.
But it sounds good. I don't really know, but it sounds good. It's got to be something good.
Yeah. So for reggae albums in 2023, um, for that period when it was released, it hit number 11 in the US on iTunes, right? I didn't say Billboard. That would have
Okay.
been epic. But
This is good
iTunes is
too.
my billboard.
Yes.
And then I traveled to the UK shortly after that. And the UK iTunes, I got that as well. I
Ah,
believe it to like number 42. And that to me was definitely a high because something I want to do for so long, just have a small body of work, 7 songs. Like I thought was no big deal at one point, but it's more to it than just to think that you're going to do it or say you're going to do it or have someone do it for you. I really felt that whole experience, the slowness of it and then the fastness of it. Because as soon as it hit number 11, I didn't see it on iTunes no more. And as soon as it hit 42, it's gone, from the UK iTunes as well. So it was very short lived. But it's a mark that I won't forget. I'll know that my EP actually was highlighted on
Well,
iTunes.
you came through. At first, it seemed it wasn't going anywhere, and then you came through. I think that's something to be, really proud of. Can you complete these sentences? I wish I'd known ... about the music industry.
Oh my goodness. I wish I'd known the level of politics there was in the music industry. Yeah,
There's
I wish I'd
politics in the
known
music
that.
industry. I didn't know that.
Yes, there is politics and the business side of things. Yeah, I wish I had knowledge of that because for a long time I was just in oblivion, singing on the tiki bar, thinking that's all you had to do.
I think that's the thing with an artist. With an artist,
They've got the talent, they've got the passion, they've got the drive. Now they need to get their head tuned or wired to the business side for longevity. Yeah. And the next sentence, this time next year ...
This time next year, I want to have been to Africa.
Oh, lovely. And where in Africa would you like to have
been to.
Oh, why are you doing that? I was going big. So she's
Okay,
making me
let's just leave it
making
there.
me refine it. Okay, so I'm gonna be in Tanzania, Zanzibar, the beachy side and
Okay,
the
okay.
vibe.
Well, I'm going to hold you to that and I'll be in contact this time next year and see how far you go. Soul Rebel, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure hearing about your inspirations and also about your craft. After I sign out, I wonder if you wouldn't mind singing or performing from one of your latest pieces. To those listening, you can hear one of Soul Rebel's latest releases, King Majesty, on all good streaming platforms. For more information about her, visit her on Instagram at the with two E's _soul _rebel. Take it away.
King Majesty, may I speak to thee? Oh, so much I've longed to say to you alone. Truly, I agree. I'm not of your society. But one day I'll be your queen, not just a minstrel. That's why this song to you I sing. I'm not just a minstrel, oh no. In life we're so far apart, oh, royal king. I see love in your eyes, in your eyes. I love you true, King Majesty. Bless.
Woo, 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 woo. I really love that you've got a little bit of soul in there, a bit of lovers rock, reggae. I'm loving it. Oh, thank you so much. And thank you so much for joining us. Okay. Well, I'll be in touch and thank you for giving up your time. Yeah. You can go back to your afternoon. That was lovely. Thank you. Take
Thank
care.
you very much. Big up yourself and
And
big up your team in the background production.
thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.